All right, well, it's that time again at the end of a project when all that's left is to look back and rate my performance. So I'm going to spend just a little bit of time talking about what I did to the guitar. If you want to hear some sound clips, you can go to this timestamp here and just jump right ahead. So in terms of what I did for this guitar, in my first video, I mentioned that I start off with the StewMac kit. And in general, I'm really pleased with how that kit, the value it provides. Both the mahogany body and the mahogany neck were both very well done straight out of the box. I didn't need to do any repair sort of touch-ups. All I did was able to just jump right into doing the finishing. And so from that perspective, I'm super happy with it. On the headstock side, of course, I cut my own headstock out, put my own label. Using the stock tuners, which I think work very well. The nut is plastic. I probably could have replaced that with bone, but the guitar seems to sound pretty fine without it. The fretwork is actually quite good on this guitar. I spent a little bit of time dyeing the fretboard so it would be darker, but didn't need to take much time at all in terms of smoothing out any fret ends. Just here and there, kind of a touch-up. On the body side, I used the three-tone sunburst kit. I painted it, nicely at first, and then I went through and did all of the, kind of relicing, aging process. And, for the most part, I think I did a pretty good job. This was the first one I've ever done. It does have some resembling playing wear for, where it would fit on my body. For instance, if I'm playing like this, okay, this area here is where my arm would rub against that. And so, I do think there is a reasonable approximation of playing wear here. If I had to grade myself, I'd probably give myself maybe a B or a B+. There's definitely a little bit too much regularity here. That comes from me using a razor blade. As I showed in the other videos, checking tends to be very parallel, but it doesn't tend to look kind of like this scratching effect that I have here. And so it's a little bit overdone for right now. I think over time, as more playing wear gets actually introduced, it will probably fade away. It won't seem so excessive, but that's the one area I would go back and kind of do again. I did like, these areas here, these sort of chips, shows a lacquer depth. We have the side wear, the wear on the back that you would get, kind of the buckle rash idea. Again, here's some of the kind of parallel scratches that I've done differently. But in general, I think the relic process went pretty well. On the sound side, I think the pickups sound fantastic. This is StewMac's budget kit, which isn't to say that it was cheap, but they, have even higher end ones. I love the pickups, how they sound. In the sound clips, you'll hear that it has that very much Strat type tone, the, Strat into a Fender amp with that bell-like sort of sound, gets that Sultans of Swing sound a little bit. I think it sounds really great. I wouldn't change a thing about them. The pick guard came pre-wired, and so it was a very easy decision to sort of stick with that. I actually played the guitar and actually put a bunch of playing wear in. You'll see a little bit possibly right here. Some of the scratches that you don't see as prominently actually are real picking wear. And so overall, I think this project went really, really well. At the beginning, I mentioned that I didn't like the bridge. It seemed a little bit lightweight. That didn't bother me as much once it got on here. The only thing that is a little, I think, too much is the tremolo bar itself is a little bit wiggly for my taste. It's one of the screw-in type ones, so I can't put any like tape around it, but I think it's one of those things that you just sort of live with. And so, yeah, in general, I definitely think I hit the mark that I was trying for, which was, heavily aged, 60, 70 years of playing wear. On the back side, the neck, it may be a little bit hard to get into the video here. I simulated the neck wear through sanding and a little bit of black aniline dye. It is lighter from here to here, and so as hand wear in the future kind of goes through this, it should be the case that this main neck playing area will be dirtier or different color than the headstock and kind of the heel. And so we have that piece. 3 springs in the back. I think that works pretty well. And yeah, in general, I'm super pleased with how this turned out. And so now we can jump ahead to listen to some sound clips. But yeah, thanks for watching all of these videos. I try to take as much time to explain the thinking behind things, not just sit here and sort of attack it with a razor blade or a bandsaw or a belt sander or something. I try to actually go ahead and explain my rationale. And so, hopefully, you'll get something out of that video if you try this yourself. But in general, I love this guitar. I'm actually a little sad to see it go, but that's what differentiates this as a business than a hobby is I do have to actually send these on their way. And so this guitar will head off to my friend Jason. Jason, thank you so much for supporting me. Couldn't take this journey without supporting friends like yourself. And yeah, take a listen to these sound clips, and I'll see you in the next project. Thanks for watching.